Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Joni and I am the blogger behind simplelivingmama.com, and in today's video I am going to talk about homeschooling through sickness or any other hard event. This could be pregnancy, it could be a move, it could be any one of those things that we have to deal with in life that sort of throw us off of our regular schedule and off of our regular routine. I've actually had to homeschool through all of those situations. So I'm going to just provide some tips and some tricks and some things that I've learned along the way here in this video to help you get through those tough times. One of the reasons that I haven't put out a video in a couple of months now is because my family was dealing with a lot of sickness. Very, very difficult season that we have just come out of. On January 1st, I actually woke up sick with what I thought was COVID, and after about a week, I started feeling a little bit better, but I was still having fevers and just really tired. Like, I can remember taking my kids to the library and I couldn't even walk around the library. I had to sit down every few minutes, and I knew something was not right. And after many hospital visits, well, 2 hospital visits, doctor's visits, I was admitted to the hospital. They found out that I actually had something called CMV mono. So CMV is the virus cytomegalovirus. It is not the typical virus that causes what we know as mono. That's typically EBV. So my symptoms did not match the EBV mono that you would normally see with really swollen lymph nodes and sore throat and stuff. I didn't have that. I just had severe fatigue and a lingering fever. So I also had elevated liver enzymes, which is not normal for me. So after many, many tests, they determined that I had CMV. Actually got it from my kids. It doesn't affect kids too much. Most people get it when they're kids, and it's kind of like a run-of-the-mill cold for them. So yeah, I was pretty sick for about 3 weeks. And I was also, of course, trying to homeschool during this time and figure out what was wrong with me and get better. So I was better after 3 weeks. The fever broke and I started slowly getting back to normal. And then one of my kids got the flu, and we have never had the flu sweep through our house before. The 1 year that my husband managed to get the flu, we were able to keep it contained to just him, and nobody else in the house got it. You know, all the natural remedies, all the quarantining and all that stuff worked. But this time a child got it, and it just swept through the entire house. So that was another 2.5 plus weeks of sickness. Of course, I ended up with it. Everybody in the house got it. One of my kids even got pneumonia after they had the flu. It was hard. It was, I would say, the past few months have been some of the most challenging months that we've had as a family. And yeah, so it's now springtime, almost springtime, and the weather's warming up, the days are getting longer. I am just praying that we get some relief from some of the things that we've been dealing with. But today's video is, of course, going to be how did we get through all of that and keep up with homeschooling. And I'm going to say, first of all, I have 7 children. My oldest one is in 10th grade and my youngest is 4 years old. So she's not doing any formal schooling whatsoever, but I do have a 1st grader who's right above her. So the first thing I want to say is I have set up my 3 oldest kids, my 16-year-old, my 14-year-old, and my 12-year-old independently. This is something that we have been doing for, I would say, the past 2 years now. They have all been pretty much completely independent. We use a Charlotte Mason curriculum. It's called Mater Amabilis, as well as for the older 2 students, we utilize online courses, mostly through Homeschool Connections, but we've used Journey Homeschool Academy and some other things as well in the past. So a lot of their classes are online too. So what I do is I make a list for them, either in a spiral notebook. My 12-year-old has a spiral notebook that he goes off of, and my older 2 kids, I just use a Google Doc, and I create weekly lists for them with all of their assignments, and they are able to pretty much complete all of their assignments independently, report back to me with any narrations that they may have, or any issues that they have going on. Sometimes I can help them. Sometimes, like with the higher math, we have to figure that out a different way, because I don't teach math. I'm not an expert in math, and I make sure that for the older kids that they have their classes with other teachers for math. So that is how we were able to keep the older kids going. I mean, it's just a process. It's a well-oiled machine, and they know how to do it. They've been able to work independently for several years now. So what about the younger kids that are not able to work independently? I have a 4th grader, a 3rd grader, and a 1st grader, and I was not able, to make them a list and say, here, go do this. Obviously, I am very, very involved with teaching them every subject that we do. So for them, I will say we got behind on my regular schedule. There's a lot that I've cut out. There's some books that I decided I'm not going to read with the kids this year, and it's going to be okay. Sometimes you have to cut some stuff out. You have to decide what's important and what's not important. So that has been a big part of the process. I got sick right at the beginning of our term 2. So some of the things for term 2 were kind of just condensing or skipping over entirely. Now, that being said, I do utilize different learning apps as well as different hands-on resources, and I'll have a blog post with the hands-on resources up there in the cards and down in the description box below, and I'll just tell you about the different apps that we have used as well. So for math, for everyone except the 1st grader, we use teaching textbooks. I've used teaching textbooks for a very long time. I've used it with all of my kids at this point, except for the 2 younger ones. And even though there have been times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try something else this year, we keep coming back to teaching textbooks, and I'm just going to leave it at that. We're going to stay with teaching textbooks because it's so easy for them to use. They are still learning a lot with it, and I can help them with it easy peasy. So for their math, they were able to keep up with their own math lessons through teaching textbooks. So everything else. So we also use reading eggs. It's a pretty big part of their reading/phonics curriculum this year, and it is something that I have utilized heavily in the past 2 months, just because it has been so hard for me to sit down and do the phonics lessons with them. I'm getting back into it, but while we were all sick, it was very hard for me to make the extra time to be able to do that, or they were too sick to do any of the lessons as well. When they're really sick, obviously I'm not making them do schoolwork, but if I'm dealing with another sick child, or the times that I was sick for weeks, that is when they are going to be doing the online apps and stuff. So reading eggs has been a huge help. My 4th grader, my 3rd grader, and my 1st grader, and my 4-year-old all use reading eggs. They have different programs for those various ages, and they're able to do a lot of phonics practice, or just language arts practice. There is I think it's called Reading Express for the older kids, that helps them with reading comprehension and all of that stuff, as well as grammar and everything else. So that was something that we used very, very heavily. Another resource that we used is Write Stories. I've talked about them on my Instagram quite a bit, and I've sent out some emails to those of you on my email list about Write Stories. It's just a fun way for the kids to create their own stories, and they really do enjoy doing that. Okay, let's see. What else have we used? We did start Khan Academy. I'm just having the kids use that to practice. It's not really part of their formal schooling or anything, but it's a good little online app that they can use just to practice all of their skills that they're learning with reading and math and language arts and all of that. Okay, so besides those online apps, we've also gotten really into hands-on resources like box subscription type things. One of the ones that we used for science was Crunch Labs. We do have a Crunch Labs subscription. My 4th grader loves it. So we get one box for those 3 kids, and they're able to sit down and, you know, put it all together and learn whatever it is that that box is trying to teach them. It's like engineering, STEM type stuff. So that was something that we definitely kind of relied on and depended on the past couple of months, as well as some other things. One of the fun things that we really enjoy is called Baketivity. My kids love to cook and they love to bake, and Baketivity has lots of different baking kits, and you can choose whichever one you want. So we've got one coming that's like an Easter baking kit. It's like a little bunny bum cake and a little carrot brownie recipe, and it comes with almost all the ingredients that you need. If you need eggs or something like that, or ice cream, it doesn't have that in it, but it comes with just about all the ingredients that you need to create these fun little baked creations. So that's something that they've really been enjoying. We don't have a subscription to Baketivity. We just pick kits here and there to use, but they do offer a subscription that works really well for homeschool families. Let's see. History Unboxed is one of my favorite subscriptions. Well, we don't use a subscription. They have a subscription option, but it's one of my favorite like educational boxes that you can get, because you choose like the period of history that you're studying, and you get like this box that comes with various things that you can do. So for like ancient Egypt, we're mummifying an apple slice. We painted a little sarcophagus box. For the American Revolution, the kids had like a quill pen and a scroll, and they were able to pretend like they were writing the Declaration of Independence. We learned about the Boston Tea Party. It came with some tea. And for Paul Revere, when we learned about Paul Revere, they made like a little tin punch lantern. So cute. That's been one of my favorite boxes that we've gotten. We've also gotten Drew's Art Box, which is like a really fun art kit. So you can pick whichever art kit that you want. And one of my kids has really gotten into creating art. He's making art like every single day since I got him this art box. And let's see, what else have we used? Knowledge crates. So we have also gotten knowledge crates. We did the desert one because this was from term 1. We learned about deserts, but it had so many different activities in it that kids were able to keep doing those activities even into term 2. So it came with like art activities, modeling clay, several different books, made a map of the deserts, all this fun stuff. So that's kind of like how we manage getting through really difficult times. We pare down what we really think is important that the kids need to learn. A lot of times, if it's a really dire situation, that's math and that's language arts. The rest of the stuff can wait. If the kids are old enough to read independently, definitely get them some books to read independently. And, you know, it's okay to use learning apps. I know some people are very much against screens, but if you're in a situation where your daily routine is completely turned upside down and you need something for your kids to do, and you may be using a screen, you might as well make that screen time educational. And that's what we've done. If you have the means to get some educational boxes sent to you from various awesome homeschool companies, look into those as well, because giving them those things to do, like mom's laying in bed, she can't get out of bed to do any activities with us, but here's some activity that I can do on my own, is very helpful. Now, those situations are, these things work in situations where you're dealing with sickness, or you're pregnant, or you just had a new baby. I will say, when you're moving, like, obviously all of those boxes that I talked about are not going to work out if you're in the middle of a move. We've moved several times while homeschooling, and what I end up doing is I set aside like one big tub, and I put the homeschool materials that I want the kids to keep up with in this one big tub, and it goes with us. Like, it doesn't go with the movers, it just goes with us. And we try to keep up with our schooling that way. And obviously we don't have access to our full homeschool library or our full, whatever it may be. So a lot of times it's just going to be like, some workbooks, some read alouds, the learning apps still work really well if you've got iPads that the kids can use. So you can take the iPads and the kids can do their learning apps while you're moving and stuff like that. So that is how I handle a move situation. Another thing that we did, we actually got the kids the Yoto mini players for Christmas. I love the Yoto mini players. There is so many different ways that you can use these. Obviously, you can use the Yoto cards, and they have a variety of awesome classic stories on the Yoto cards. They also have like podcasts that the kids can listen to, as well as you can Bluetooth to it. So if you have a different audiobook or something like that you want to play from your phone, you can play it on the Yoto player for the kids. So I've been really impressed with that, and we have been using that a lot for our read alouds. So that is something else that you can consider. I hope that you got some great ideas from this video if you're in any of these situations. I know sickness happens to all of us at one point or another. It may not be to the extent that we've experienced recently, but there are times when we have to adjust our schedules and all of that stuff. So if you enjoyed today's video, please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.